Hey, welcome to the Virtually Speaking podcast coverage of VMware Explore 2025. I am back with not John, but my good friend Dave. Dave, welcome back.
It's great to be here, Pete. Thank you.
Yeah. John's in session right now, talking vSAN deep dive with Pete Keeler, but there's been so many great sessions this week, and one of them I want to cover and talk about on this session because I think it's a really important topic, and it's sort of that journey from vSphere to VCF. There was a great session on that. That's the title of the session, The Journey from vSphere to VCF, VMware Cloud Foundation 9.0. And we've got some of the presenters on that session in this room right now, starting with my good friend, Mr. Rick Walsworth. Rick, welcome back.
Glad to be here.
Awesome. And then Jay Schorr from GCI, welcome.
Thank you, good to be here.
Yeah. So Jay, maybe you can just kick us off, what is GCI first off? And then maybe we can talk a little bit about what you guys have been doing in this journey.
Sure, so GCI is the largest telecom in Alaska, and we serve pretty much any telecom needs across the state of Alaska. So if you can picture some things in really harsh climate type of situations, all the way through urban, rural, et cetera, that's what we do.
And then, so you guys did a session earlier today, going through this your journey for GCI, running vSphere and then going over to VCF. What was that like? Maybe we can start with the beginning of that.
If we go back to the pre-VCF days, we were finding that we were trying to support a lot of, perhaps not be bespoke, but very disparate types of clusters in various areas of the telecom. So to patch this one, you kind of do it this way, you patch that one, you do it that way, and we can't do this over here because of these constraints, and these ones over here we can use for this and that. It was very hard for the team to manage and to reason about and to think through how do we do this consistently. More importantly, how do we get to a point where we can scale and we can grow and not be stuck with these constraints holding us back?
Yeah. And Rick, so where do you come in this?
Well, the whole topic of the session was really speaking to those vSphere users. Because you think about it, we've got 300,000 vSphere customers out there, right? And a lot of them have not yet made that journey. Yeah. And now they're looking at it as that, okay, what are the benefits? What are the value? What can I get out of it? And that's really what James did through that discussion, was that he was able to share kind of the before and after, what it looked like before, just on vSphere, what it looks like now running on VCF.
So what were some of the major lessons learned? What's the elevator pitch in terms of what to be warned about and what to expect in terms of value?
Yeah, I think the major lessons we've learned is we went into this with a desire to standardize, simplify, and stabilize. And so we've made a lot of progress in doing that. And part of the move to VCF was spawned by that. So as we're trying to scale and try to innovate, et cetera, as we're starting to do, when we went over to VCF, we started realizing we can really upgrade clusters a lot faster. We can do patches a lot easier. So we're spending less time on kind of the grunt work, so to speak, and more time on the more valuable thing, improving the developer journey. Making sure apps go from concept to production as quickly as possible, making sure they're observed well, they're secure, that they're meeting real business value, and we're iterating on that. So I really see it as unlocking that path to innovation and growth, because now we're not dealing with all the little minutia type of stuff.
Yeah, and some of the things that I think really resonated with the audience were some of the transitions that you did as well, right? Going NSXV to NSXT, ARIA 7 to ARIA 8, right? Those are huge transitions. And you talked about what are the how did it really help that? And then even talk about your network infrastructure, because you even talked about how you went to the spine and leaf architecture on the network side, and VCF made that a lot easier. Yeah,
we basically bit off a ton of change right around the pandemic timeframe, right after the pandemic, and we kind of gritted our teeth and as a team powered through it. We did everything from upgrading firewalls that were coming end of life, to upgrading the entire design of our network, upgrading our compute platform, upgrading the way we did storage, upgrading the way we did IAC, developer journey, the whole 9 yards. And then that was all alongside doing things such as firing up VDI, hooking into public cloud, doing integrations between the two. And so, it's been a bit of a whirlwind the last number of years.
Sounds like it.
So what are some of the cost advantages of moving from one platform to the other, and what did you notice right away in terms of cost optimization, in terms of some of the savings?
I think cost optimization has been mostly for us around the OpEx side, around labor. So not having to spend as much of the team's time on things that used to kind of eat our lunch. We'd be upgrading something that doesn't work. So now we've got, because this particular cluster has whatever, And so getting rid of some of that burden on the teams and then being able to catch up and stay caught up with project work, things that are more meaningful for the company, that alone has cost reduction, right? Because you're not having to go hire contractors to do that, et cetera. So I would say mostly on the OpEx side.
Okay. Well, it seems like based on the timing that you mentioned, were you involved in the actual beta for VCF 9, or were you...
For VCF 9?
Yeah, were you involved in the beta?
Yeah, we're a beta customer.
Oh, okay. So what was that experience like, being part of the beta?
In the words of one of our engineers, that's the easiest upgrade I've ever done. The easiest install I've ever done. We had that in the lab. We've got a VCF 9 running, and then we also have a domain that is VCF 5.2, and then another one that's 5.2 that we're going to use to upgrade to 9. So we're trying out greenfield 9, mirror production in the lab, and then mirror production going to 9. So we can kind of test various paths. What's going to be best for us and what's less brittle.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's certainly one of the benefits of being able to run a beta, right? Because you go through that in a somewhat controlled environment. It's good for you because it gives your team experience in terms of doing that. It's great for us because we were getting all that feedback through the whole beta cycle that we were able to incorporate into the platform before we started shipping it.
So what are your plans going forward? I know this is completed, moving into capacity management, your ability to kind of manage the next destination for the platform.
Yeah, really our plans going forward is to prove out 9 in the lab. We're unsure right now, will we go the greenfield path of firing up a new cluster with 9 from the get-go, or will we do 5.2 and do that upgrade path? The team is animately discussing that, the pros and cons, and I'm sitting back like, what is the team going to recommend that we do here, along with Broadcom? So that's step one. Do we? And that's probably going to be a VCF 9.1 thing because we mostly have VX Rails out there, so we're waiting for 9.1 a bit. So there's that, and then secondly, on the public cloud side, we're trying to standardize and simplify the way we're doing developer journey and day 2 operations across. So no matter where something lives, it should be operated consistently. We should be able to tap the features.
All right. Well, as we start to land this plane, I'm curious, like, you've been through this process, your team has been through this process. Like, what would you say to other customers that are actually considering VCF? Like, what recommendations would you have? What lessons learned came out of this that you were like, think about that, or don't forget about that?
Yeah. I see it as you really need to slow down and take your time to design out a good solution, but don't stay in analysis paralysis and keep pushing it off. Start now with what you have. If you have some compute laying around that you could make use for a lab, tap that. Start using that. Try it out. Start moving some workloads over or copying them over, whatever, and seeing, does this work for us? And I think you'll find it's pretty solid. So
I was going to say, the line you had in the session I thought was spot on. He said, listen more to the architects and engineers and less to the business in terms of what they're doing.
I'm sure the business people will not like that.
But it's true, right? You want to make sure you do it right. You're going to get one shot at it. Do it right.
Yeah. And that's the beauty, too. You can iterate on this. You don't have to get it perfect first try.
Yeah.
Right? That's the beauty about all the software-defined stuff.
Right.
You can get something going, and then I think it's valuable, too, for the team to get it going, tear it down.
Yes.
Do it again,
Right.
tear it down,
Yep.
do it again, learn those lessons, bake them in so that you have repeatable processes.
Exactly.
Very good. Well, that's a story that I'm sure many folks are going to be going through themselves, that journey from vSphere to VCF. I want to thank you for doing a session here, but also joining us on Virtually Speaking. Enjoy the rest of your week.
Sure, it's great being here.
All right,
See you.
Thank you.